seconds ago.
Oh no. Are you listening to the podcast?
Oh shit. It's muted, but I'm on. Oh, I'm on there now.
Test 1 2 3.
Hold on. Let me unmute it.
Yep.
All right. Now say something.
Test 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Ow. Can you hear me? Sound check.
I heard you.
I assume we hear you. All right, we're good.
I don't know if I hear me. Maybe. I don't think I hear me. Sure I do.
You do?
I think so.
Okay. Can move it up a little bit too.
I don't know, the volume is super low on it for some reason.
Okay, good deal.
You sound low on it.
How about now?
Well, I hear me. I hear you.
Okay.
Everybody's lowish, but
That'll work.
let's go.
That'll do. All right.
These 6 exciting games this weekend.
Well, let's do the fun recap from last week. So, Ripper finished up the season 168, 101, and 2. 40 was 162, 107, and 2. A lot of swings and misses, which went great until late on Sunday when everything fell apart. Um, so, uh, oh well, it was what it was. Talk about the two things I want to talk about were um,
Texans.
the Texans. How if you're the owner, do you just like go? Did you kill Lovey Smith after the game? Like,
I mean, you got to talk about that, man. Lovey Smith went out with some balls. Like, hey, I know I'm getting fired, but you know what? Here you go. F you. I'm going to take away your number one pick. I'm going to win this game. And he did.
yeah,
Went for the win at the end with a 2-point conversion when you could have just folded, right? But nope. I know I'm getting fired. You know what? If I'm getting fired, you're going to hurt too. That was awesome.
yeah. You're
Didn't
not
really
gonna
matter.
you're not gonna have a franchise quarterback. You're welcome.
Didn't really matter, though. Who has the number one pick now?
That is the Bears.
They're not going for a quarterback, so it really didn't hurt the Texans because you know the Texans are going to draft a quarterback.
Correct. And the Bears are too dumb too.
Well, they like their quarterbacks to be able to be, running backs in disguise.
So that was one, and then two. What's up with the Chargers? You got nothing to play for, and then you make Russell Wilson look like a superstar, and
They
you get a
felt
couple
bad.
players hurt. Like that's the bigger one.
They didn't want Russell to look too bad. They're like, man, let's throw him a bone.
I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
all right, so on to week uno. The very first game we've got is the Calvin Ridley Jr.'s versus the 49ers, Seahawks and Niners.
This game, man, Geno Smith looks great. I mean, he looks good, right? He doesn't look like the Geno Smith we know and love. He had a great season. Seattle still has great receivers. They have a good running game. I mean, they can win this game. However, they could win if they were playing maybe like the Cowboys or somebody like that. Not the 49ers. Quarterback and all, I think this 49ers defense is solid. You can have some offensive mistakes in this game, and that defense is still going to pull it out for you. It's a tough game. I can't even tell you what Seattle has to do right to win this game. I mean, they have to have zero turnovers, and score on every drive because if you don't, the 49ers are going to make you pay. That defense is harsh, man. I don't see that the Seahawks have much of a chance in this game. Um, they're not going to get blown out of the water, but they're definitely going to lose. I would call this like a 14-point game, maybe a little bit more. Defense, man. Offense wins games and defense wins championships, right?
Yep.
And in this case, the 49ers defense is a.
Well,
This
and
is my.
just the stats. So on offense, the 49ers are fifth, the Seahawks are 12th. On defense, the 49ers are second, the Seahawks are 26th. Passing 13 for the Niners, 12th for the Seahawks. Rushing 7th for the 49ers, and 18th for the Seahawks. The last time they played, the Niners won 21-13, and that was December.
It's not a good game for the Seahawks, man. It's not a good matchup. I don't think the Seahawks O line can hold a defensive rush for one. Second, I think the linebacking core for the 49ers is legit. They're in trouble. Like I said, if the Seahawks win this game, it's because they had a perfect game, zero turnovers, and just a score on every drive, be it a touchdown or a field goal.
Yeah.
On the other side of it, the offensive side, the 49ers, look, man, you got McCaffrey, you got Debo back, yeah, you got Ayuk, even the other running back,
The Jeff Wilson.
uh, not Wilson, he's in
Um,
Miami.
yeah. Sorry. Um,
Uh,
yes, I had him.
yeah, that other guy.
Elijah, whatever.
Yeah. Anyways, he's looking good still. I mean, wow, this team is looking pretty. And speaking of a pretty, the kid ain't playing too bad, man. I really think that this is my favorite. I think now for the now season's over, right? But this is my NFC favorite, I guess. I don't even remember who we said at the beginning of the season. I know I said Buffalo. I don't remember who I said NFC was my favorite to win Super Bowl because the
The
Chargers were
Niners were in
trash.
the mix, but I think we weren't sold on Lance, and that was the big part. And I think we had the Bucs and the Rams, and teams that kind of. So
But my pick in this game is definitely the 49ers, hands down.
yeah, mine's, and to me, the Seahawks would have to play a perfect game. The Niners would have to turn over the ball multiple times. Like they've got probably 2 or 3 point blank giveaways they can still make up for it. And that's the only way the Seahawks can win. And they would have to. I mean they would have to be able to pass insanely well. I mean that's the only, you're not going to run on the Niners, and I don't think you're going to throw enough with, and if the 49ers get a lead, heaven forbid, they're going to pin their ears back and just kill them. Um, so yeah, the 49ers have been the class of the NFC for a bit now. So I am wondering how the quarterback will do, but he's done well so far. Doe was looking forward to the game. So, yeah, 49ers for me as well. This will be less fun if we all pick the same thing. But I think we're going to pick different on this next game.
I see 49ers in that Super Bowl.
Um, I actually see the Cowboys.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So
Play with my emotions already.
no, I actually do. I think this is the kind of year that you guys can sneak in. I don't know you'd win. I think the AFC is a stronger team conference. But I can, let's face it, the 49ers are flawed, right? They're flawed at quarterback. The Eagles are who they thought, we thought they are. The Vikings are who they thought they were. You you're not going to have problems with the Giants. I no. I see you have a path. We'll see if it plays out that way. Okay. The next Saturday game is my game. The Jaguars hosting the Chargers.
Well, they played each other, right? At the beginning of the
38-10.
Chargers.
Jags.
Ooh. Well, both teams are different now, right? Neither team is what they were when they first played. Obviously, I think the Jaguars have improved big time. I'm still not sold on your Sunshine, but he has played better. I think your bright spot for the Jaguars is the defense, man, and I think I call that. You know, a few weeks ago they've been playing a lot better, and they have been for the last 4 or 5 weeks. They've shown up. I think that makes a big difference too, man. And before they weren't couldn't stop a fly from landing on shit, right? So now these guys are playing a lot better. Your Sunshine's controlling the ball. He's managing the game well. Etanene, I expected better from. He's kind of hit or miss, in my opinion. You still don't have a great receiving core that you're throwing to, but they're managing. They're making the game happen, right? The defense is big, but then you flip this ball around. Look at the Chargers. That's the other part, man. Herbert is a good quarterback, obviously. They've got a running back that started to step it up big time. They got a defense that's still not bad, and I believe they got Boza back, right?
They got Boza back. They've got Boza back and one of the wide receivers, and I think the other one got hurt.
Well, Mike Williams is back. I know that. Allen's still there. Eckler's turned it on fire, and you got Herbert, man. This is a good matchup of two young quarterbacks. Who's been in the league longer, Herbert by 1 year?
Yeah.
So it's still a good match. Man, I think all these games are going to be matchups. A lot of them are matchups of young quarterbacks, which is great. But this is a young quarterback matchup, right? And defensively, I think they both kind of wish wash, right? But and I think that's my point is I think that's where the difference is going to be. Honestly, I think the difference in this game is going to be the defense. I think both defenses aren't ranked very high, but that's season total. If you look at the last 4 weeks, the Jaguars defense has been on fire, and I really think that makes a big difference. I'm a big Herbert fan, and I think the kid can play the game great. But I hate to do this, and I hate to say this. To me, again, I'm going to go with defense wins championships, and I think the defense for the Jaguars has just been on fire, man. They're a turnover machine, and I really like the way they're playing. And I I hate going against Herbert. I really like the kid. I'm not a big fan of Sunshines, but I think your defense pulls it out for you again, and I think that the Jaguars take this game.
So I mean, here's the numbers. So the Chargers are eighth on offense. The Jags are ninth. The Chargers are 20th on defense. The Jags are 24th. The Chargers are the third ranked passing attack. The Jags are the 10th. The Chargers are 30th in rushing, and the Jags are 14th. So they seem kind of like,
But those numbers are deceiving. You understand that, right? Like the rushing. So
yeah,
yeah,
because
I mean,
Eckler is more of a scat bat that catches a pass instead of
but
running.
he's also gone on fire lately.
Yeah.
He has been on fire, just like the defense for the Jaguars has been on fire. This is gonna be a game. I think this is a game against a high powered offense against to my opinion, the last 4 weeks a high powered defense, and it's gonna come down to who has the better game, your defense or the Jaguar or the Chargers offense. And if your defense can play a game, I think your offense is adequate enough to score some points and win this one. Obviously, Sunshine's been on fire the last couple of weeks as well. He's played some good games. It'll be a good one, man. I'm honestly thinking that the Jaguars pull this one off. Believe it or not.
Yay. I like that.
Now, let's go with my record of picking the Jaguars.
Not the best. This. So,
Don't celebrate yet.
I mean, I'm picking my team. The things that worry me is we don't have a pass rush, and our leading sacker actually got hurt, blew out his Achilles like the next to last game. That worries me. We're much better at stopping the run, and making timely plays. However, the Chargers defense doesn't. I mean, they give up chunks. So, our offense can, the hope is our offense can keep up with them and then maybe even get ahead. Again, the first week was really close and turnovers kind of just spiraled out of control. So if the Chargers turn the ball over, like you said, the Jags will, they are very good at taking advantage of those. I think this is our win in the playoffs. I don't expect too much more. We're going to play a big boy in the next round if we pass, whichever gets here. So this is probably our Super Bowl. I think we're ahead of schedule, so I'm happy. So Jags for me.
Nice. I mean, again, what do the Jaguars have to do to win this game? What do the Chargers have to do to win this game? For me, the Jaguars defense has to play top notch,
Yep.
make some stops so that your offense can score a few points. On the Chargers side, Herbert has to have a good game, a very good game, and he has to be on fire to the air because that's really what it is, right? I mean, Eckler has a lot of points, a lot of touchdowns, rushing touchdowns to their team, but that's because he's playing off a short field a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Herbert gets him down there. So we'll see, man. I honestly feel that the defense is the Jaguars' defense is, like I said, turnover machine, man. And all it takes is a couple turnovers in the playoffs, man, make a whole difference. So can't
Well,
wait.
and I like our weapons. Like we have home run hitting weapons with Etienne. He like you said he's not always there, but when he does, it's like a 60-yard chunk, right? So against the Titans are flat up one of the best run defenses in the league. They weren't there were no holes. They didn't even try. I think they ran 10 times. I don't feel the same way about the Chargers, and if he can take some chunks, that just makes everything else easier. So
Different type of running back, though, right? I mean, they stopped Henry pretty well, actually, but Eckler is a different kind of running back, right?
yeah,
He isn't that gonna run down your throat power back. He's that. Oop, shit, was he there? No, he's gone.
yeah. Who's covering the guy in the backfield? Oh, no one. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So all right, we're picking the same teams.
Yeah.
The two-less Dolphins against the Bills, and the poor guys. I'm sorry. Better luck next year.
I mean, this is where Calvin Ridley just can't miss the days. So either way, let's assume it's Bridgewater. Okay, doesn't make a difference. I mean, I hate to say it. That offense without Tua is not that offense, right? I mean, yeah, they have weapons. They have Waddle. They have Hill. They don't have a running game for the life of them. That's for sure. Um, I don't think it makes a difference, man. This isn't a hard game to break down, right? It's the Buffalo Bills. They're my Super Bowl favorite. If the Miami Dolphins win here, it's like a huge upset, a miracle upset, right? Without two of this game and this team is different. They still have some good weapons, but Bridgewater isn't Tua. He can't get the ball to those weapons the way Tua can, and you can't depend on your running game. Not Mustard and Wilson, not against the Buffalo Bills. Defensively, I think the Buffalo Bills are what number one.
I'm looking. Give me 2 seconds.
Either way, tough team, tough game.
They are
This is
number one.
this to me is like that week one college game that big colleges schedule. Like, yeah, we're gonna play Northern Appalachia State. Like, who the heck is that, right? Like, and it's just a smoking, right? And that's what it's gonna be. Unfortunately for Miami, there isn't gonna be much for them there. Not offensively, not without Tua for sure. And the Buffalo Bills, on the flip side of their offense, come on now.
Yeah.
Allen, look, Allen has unfinished business. You know what I mean? Like this kid really wants this Super Bowl, and I think that you see Allen play times three, super powered, right? So this is going to be an easy game,
Which is
an
probably
easy game to
terrible for
call.
the Bills, right?
Why?
Because this is the game that you probably just take them out. You just beat this team, right? But Allen's the kind of guy who doesn't seem to think about, oh, this is second down. Let me not lower my shoulder and gets himself hurt. So, I mean, he is a huge human being, but my point is that that's the worst. Like the worst scenario for them is that Allen gets hurt. Like they can survive just about anybody else getting hurt.
Well, I mean, I think if the game is out of hand, then they'll pull him, right?
Correct.
Wouldn't doubt that. I don't think they're going to leave him there. Oh, it's a 42-point lead. Let's leave Allen there.
Yeah.
Third and one. Let's run him. No, they ain't doing that again. I'm pretty sure if they're up by that much, they'll pull him.
So I don't see again. It's the NFL. Any given Sunday, I just don't see how the Dolphins win this game. The Bills are fourth on offense, first on defense, eighth in passing, ninth in rushing. The Dolphins sixth on offense, 18th on defense, fourth in passing, and 25th in rushing. They'll get chunk plays with Hill and Waddle. Gasecki might get some, but that's it. The Bills are just an efficient machine, and their defense is probably going to get a score. Or make it a very short field for the offense. I would say 9 times out of 10, the Bills win this one. So, dub Bills.
Agreed. No doubt about it.
Yeah,
you
this
know,
would
it's
probably be an upset for the ages if um the Dolphins pulled this one out.
well, let's be honest. The Dolphins shouldn't even be there, to be honest.
Correct.
But yeah, the Bills.
Okay, next up is going to be NFC matchup: the Giants and the Vikings.
This game's gonna be a little bit better than the forementioned Buffalo and Miami game. Uh, Giants are coming off a little route, right? First time in the playoffs in how long? It's been a while since they've been back to the playoffs.
I think it's since the Eli Manning
Their
heyday.
quarterback does a great impression of being a quarterback slash running back. Um, you know, the Vikings to me were a dangerous team, are a dangerous team
Is
that
is he
found
a
ways to win.
is he a heaven forbid I say it, a dime store quarterback or dime store Justin Fields or
Who,
Jalen Hurts?
Jones? Nah, I think Jones is pretty good, man. He's not great, right? His yardage don't support it, but man, he- sometimes you just get a quarterback that has that it factor, right? And it seems like the team rallies around him, right? They didn't get in with a great record, 9-7-1, but it does seem like the team rallies around him, and it seems like he can motivate his team to play football. This game, however, and believe it or not, I think the Vikings got smacked around, but they come off the smacking and come back and get themselves a nice win. I think the Giants are excited about their first week playoff, and Like the rest of the NFC East, maybe except for Philly, they're going to look horrible. They're going to lose this game because the Giants are inconsistent. If you look at it, I mean, they're 9-7-1 for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are very inconsistent, but they won enough games to get into the playoffs, and great, they showed up. But I do believe that this is a round one loss. I think that the Minnesota Vikings are better than they played out. What did they lose by the last game? Wasn't
Um,
pretty.
the last time they played each other, or the last game?
No, no, Vikings in general. I got it.
The last game that these two played each other, the Vikings won 27-24, and if only we had Calvin Ridley here.
No, it's okay. I'm looking it up. Vikings Week 18 game is what I meant. Didn't they just get slapped around recently?
They
Or was
won
it the
29 to
Bears?
13 against
Or
the
was the one
Bears.
before that? Week 17. Anyways, regardless, I think the Vikings bounce back from. Well, they don't have to bounce back from anything, man. They're still the team I said they were. They're a dangerous team that finds a way to win. Right? You can look at Week 17 and say, well, not that week. Well, yeah, you know what? Everybody has an off game.
No, they
They're
won week
still winning.
17, 27-24. That
Where's
was
the
against
one
the
that just
Giants.
got beat recently?
Uh,
Oh, the Packers beat them Week 17,
oh,
41-17.
I skipped a week. Sorry.
Yeah. So the Pack beat them pretty bad, but that was Aaron Rodgers playing Aaron Rodgers like, right?
Yeah, 41 to 17.
I don't think it matters. I don't think the Giants have what it takes to beat the Vikings. I think that the Vikings will control this game early, and if not, then they'll find a way to win like they always do. Kirk Cousins will do enough to win this game. The run game is great. Obviously, they have great receivers. I just don't see the defensive side of the Giants being able to stop the offensive push for the Vikings whatsoever. Will the Giants score points? Sure. The Vikings defense isn't um, great by any means. They're pretty horrible, but that's why they always have to play catch up or win from behind. But it'll still their offense is still going to be too much for the Giants. It'll be somewhat of a shootout, but in the end, your Vikings find a way to win again and take this one. I'm going with the Vikings.
They're at home, and I don't see them losing the first round. I see them bowing out in the second round.
Oh,
Um,
if they lose, because Kirk Cousins started impersonating Dak Prescott or vice versa.
correct. You know, he has one of those three. I mean, like the Packers game, he had three picks and a couple fumbles, and it just looked terrible. Um, for the Giants to win, Saquon would have to have a beast of a day, and the Giants defense would have to look like the '85 Bears. It's that kind of that's what they would need, and Daniel Jones would have to be a lot better than what he's shown to this point. I think the Vikings are going to win this one. They'll win it at home, and probably find a way to win a close game that's either salted away late with a touchdown or 4 to 7 point win. So Vikings as well.
Oh, this is going super fast.
Sorry.
It's all good. I mean, look. Let's be honest. It's wild card weekend. There's not a lot of uh, big matchups, right? I mean, San Fran, Seattle, okay. Jacksonville, maybe Jacksonville and the Chargers, but Buffalo, Miami, please. Minnesota, New York. This one has if you want to call it upset on it, maybe possible, but I don't think it'll happen. The next two games are maybe a little more exciting, but the first four games don't have a lot on it. There's not a lot of excitement in this. There isn't these teams where how do I say this? It seems like in the NFL now, there's been some sucky teams in the playoffs, right? And it seems like it's every year now. You know the mismatches are there, and there isn't going to be many upsets. Now, any given Sunday, obviously, but man, if Miami beats Buffalo, wow, I'll be extremely surprised because Buffalo is my favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely some any given Sunday situations. To me, there seems to be teams that are ascending and getting into the playoffs, and teams that were hanging on and got into the playoffs, and not much else. Like the Dolphins, they haven't had two in a while, right? So they were hanging on. So I think there's kind of two teams like that. Like the Ravens are in, I think, the same boat. Which, speaking of the Ravens, the next game is the Ravens at home against Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Sweden can hear me. Sweden messaged me, says speak up.
Yeah, I made you a little bit louder, and I asked him if that was better.
Come on, Street. Is it better? Can you hear my beautiful voice? Do you need me to hum really loud? All right, maybe I'm the only one who got that one. Next game, Baltimore Cincinnati. Now this is a bit of a better-ish game, I guess, and maybe not. Baltimore's defense says here they're 10th. I don't agree with that. We've seen the teams put a lot of points against Baltimore. I'm guessing Lamar is or is not playing this game. Do we know, Calvin Ridley?
I don't.
I haven't seen anything that says he's going to play. Let's assume he doesn't play. Again, we've said this before during the regular season. This team without Lamar is not the same team. Their defense isn't going to hold you from scoring tons of points. And if you don't have Lamar in there to run, to run the ball or just whatever it is, keep the offense on the field longer, then the game is pretty much over. Cincinnati on the other side, come on, Joe Burrow is a winner, and we've said that. He looks like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, but the guy is a winner no matter how you look at it.
Correct.
He's a great athlete. I think big game that we missed, the Cincinnati Buffalo game, right? That didn't happen after all, but I think that game would have been big. I think that would have been a hell of a shootout in a game that we would have seen both those quarterbacks showcase the best of them, right? Again, I said, what did I say for AFC East? Buffalo and
The East.
was it Cincinnati? Yeah, sorry, AFC, bro. My bad. I said Buffalo and Cincy in the Super Bowl in the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
AFC
Correct.
championship. I don't remember what I said in the NFC to be honest. But this is one of the premier teams, man. One of the elite teams with an elite quarterback playing against a team that's on the downslide, like we talked about, right? Some teams slid into the playoffs. I think that Baltimore is one of those teams that was on the downslide. They slid into the playoffs, and they're on their way down where the Cincinnati Bengals are at a high and still getting better, right? They're getting to that playoff form, and here they are. I don't see the Baltimore Ravens defense doing enough to stop Joe Burrow. The weapons he has, man, Chase, Boyd, he just has too much, right? He has too much on his side of the field, plus a running game, elite quarterback. The defense is playing better. I mean, this team has Super Bowl written all over it as well. I'm telling you, this is going to be Buffalo and Cincy. One of these two teams. The game we missed was a pre-log or whatever you want to call it to the AFC Championship. One of these two teams, Buffalo or Cincinnati, is going to be in the Super Bowl. Obviously, I'm taking Cincinnati in this one. I don't think Baltimore has anything whatsoever to stop them. I don't. I think Baltimore without Lamar Jackson has zero chance. It's gonna be a tough game for them, man. I think Cincinnati Bengals take this one with ease. I don't think you see Burrow playing in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Jackson's not been. He's was not at practice Wednesday. I mean, he hasn't practiced since week 13. Obviously, he's hurt. I mean, that PCL sprain. Even if he comes back, he's not going to be Lamar Jackson. He's going to be Low Jackson or Low Jack Jackson. And it's definitely not his arm that makes him such a talent. So, um, with Hundley starting at quarterback, they don't say no chance, but man, the chances become infinitely smaller. Right? This is not a team that has a great, the great Ravens pedigrees of the past. Joe Burrow is on fire. His connection with his former LSU running mate is outstanding. I just no. You're right. This one should be blown out um, pretty quickly. Ironically, if you look at the stats, Bengals are 15th on offense. Ravens are 16th. Bengals are 7th on defense. Ravens are 10th. Bengals are 7th in rushing. Ravens are 20 or passing. Bengals are 28th. Ravens are rushing second, 29th for the Bengals. So the one thing that the Bengals can't do apparently is run the ball, but it's not mattered to this point. Um, and the Ravens can run, but again, you don't have Lamar, who was a big part of that running game. So um, I think it's a North battle, so I think there's going to be some hits going on, but I think at the end of the day, Bengals are just too much.
Agreed. I think they're on a track to again. They want to make the Super Bowl as well, and again, and this is going to be a tough one for them. I don't believe that the Baltimore Ravens stand a chance standing in front of the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are going to make their way to the AFC Championship game. The Bengals.
The Bengals. All right, and then don't ruin your Monday night. The Cowboys are hosting the Cowboys are going to Tampa to play the goat in the great sombrero.
There's so many things going here that I don't like. One, Dak Prescott seems to be on the
Dacking?
downside.
He's dacking?
Definitely. There's a thing out there. People are saying, well, they're following a trend, right? When the Dallas Cowboys lose one game, then they get two, then they lose one game, then they get four, and so on and so forth. Yeah, okay, this is playoff football. None of these little trends or whatever count. Second, they're playing Tom Brady. Tom Brady has not lost to the Cowboys in what, 7 games? 7 matchups, no losses. That's big. Um, every team changes and they're different, but man, if Tom Brady ain't losing games, he ain't losing games. Again, Tom Brady in the playoffs, I don't care what team he's with, is dangerous. Uh, is he an old man and belongs in the Sweet Pickles retirement bus? Yes, I do. But man, you know what? Tom Brady may be thinking this may be my last year, and I'm going to give it everything I got, and that's a dangerous thing for the Cowboys. Next, the Cowboys being one and done in the playoffs seems to be like, ugh, just what happens, right? Being a lifelong Cowboys fan, man, all we deal with is heartbreak when it comes to this, and it sucks. It sucks to feel that way, right? And we continuously go through the heartbreak um, with the Cowboys. I'm a realistic Cowboys fan, and I've said this a million times on this podcast. Dak Prescott is not our guy. Dak Prescott is the reason we're probably one and done in the playoffs. I'm rooting for my Cowboys, and Dak Prescott or not, I'm still rooting for the team. I'd love to see them go farther, and I'm praying that they do. But man, Dak Prescott is like Tony Romo, man. He just interceptions at the wrong time. Last week proved it. Almost threw a pick six. Guy dropped the very next play. Pick six to the same guy. Same play, same stupid throw. Oh man, that was so frustrating.
Hey, coach, I can get a second chance to get to him. I know
Yeah.
he dropped the ball.
Let me do that again. I can fix it. I can fix it. I got him. I'll hit him. Yeah,
You
hit the
know,
wrong guy again. Sure.
I saw a meme about Tony Romo and the fact that something about the effect of that. Now he's in the booth. He's got awesome play calling ability or able to read plays, but he sure couldn't do it when he was starting for the Cowboys. Um, so yeah, and again, I think we go back to their pedigrees, right? You guys, for what, and maybe it's you're so good at putting complementary pieces around players. And what I mean by that, there are teams that do not have a running game to save their lives. There are teams that do not build from the offensive lines and do it the right way. You guys, for whatever reason, have solid defenses and solid lines and solid running games. And you skimp out on the quarterback. You don't have a pedigreed first round quarterback. Or you get a guy like Quincy Carter, right? But at the end of the day, you can, Cooper Rush did well for you guys. And no offense to Cooper Rush, but he's not a starting NFL quarterback. He shouldn't be winning more games than he's losing, and that's a testament to the team around him. But the flip side is Dak isn't taking more steps than Cooper. Like it looks like, wow, we could put blind taste test who did better, Cooper Rush or Dak Prescott, and you can't tell. That's not good when you got a guy that you cut in training camp. He sat around the waiver wire. No one wanted him, and you signed him back week one. Like that's not good. Um, I don't know what you do other than bundle up picks and go after a legit QB prospect, and it's going to be because you guys are always picking at the bottom. It's a bundle to do that. But I mean, what else do you do? This league is a quarterback driven league, and you guys are, everybody else is running around with Ferraris, and you've got a Lincoln Navigator.
Yeah, that's the truth, and it'll continue to be the truth. And I think the biggest problem with the Cowboys, and I've said this before, is the ownership, right? It's Jerry Jones, man. I don't. I think you got a guy who thinks he knows everything about football, and
Yeah,
it's a problem. I
which is
think
hilarious,
without
right?
Jerry,
Because
things would
his
be
first
different.
quarterback was Aikman, which was the number one overall pick.
Correct, but that wasn't his first quarterback, right? We all know what the magic there was. That was Jimmy Johnson all the
Correct.
way, bro. Things have never been right since Jimmy left, bro, and I don't think they ever will be because the reason Jimmy's gone is Jerry, and Jerry is an egotistical billionaire, right? He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
care. He's got it right. He knows what he's doing. I've said this before. The Cowboys will change when Jerry Jones is no longer the owner. That only happens through, yeah. when he gets too old to be there, I
Well,
guess.
and no one taking his billionaire don't give a crap attitude along with him, right? Like if he gives the team to his son who's also got $1 billion, there's no change at all. But yeah, that makes sense.
Well, if he gives the team to his son, expect a Jones at quarterback in the future. That's a fact. They do have a. You'll see. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Now let's get back to the game though. Brady's playing to extend his career, right? This is probably the end of his career. I would think so. I think we are seeing the end of Brady's career. I think that he's gonna try and go out on top, and unfortunately, the Cowboys are there, and I'm hoping that they win this game. I'm not going to root against the Cowboys. I'm not going to pick against the Cowboys. I do think they can win this game. I think the defense is still solid. I think, Brady isn't a very mobile quarterback, and if we can get to him and we have Parsons and the guys to get to him, D-Law, all them, it could be a long, long day for Tampa Bay. If we don't get to him, Brady's going to pick our weak secondary apart because our secondary is a little weak. And the thing about Brady, he's got such a quick release, man. He can hit those holes really fast. So, he'll find those windows and he'll hit them pretty fast. And if the only real star in our defense right now, in our secondary, anyways, is Diggs. Other than that, we're in trouble. So we have to win this game. We have to get to Brady. We have to keep him on his back. And if we can succeed at that, the offense will score enough points. Dak will still throw a pick, maybe two. But if we can get to Brady and keep them from a low points from the Bucs, obviously, that also do enough to win this game. But you have to get to Brady. That's how we win this game. If not, Brady is going to tear us apart. I hope not, but
I
definitely
think
going
you
for the
I think
Cowboys.
you have to play Titan ball. You guys have got to run the ball. The Bucks can't control the clock. The Bucks are going to have to put a 45-year-old in harm's way every single time because they are ineffective running the ball, like grossly ineffective. I guess that's why we got rid of Fournette because they're like this guy is eating his way out of the league. I don't know any. I just precipitous drop from playoff Lenny to this year's Lenny, right? Um, and yes, he's got Evans, and yes, he's got Godwin. You're going to take one of them away, and then you just got to get the pass rush on Brady. On the flip side, if you can, again, that line is great. I was watching. I mean, in the overtime game, you're running 5 yards a clip, and I'm like, just do that four more times, and it's game over. And I'm like, it's over. Like when do you break the run and get the field goal to end the game, and then all of a sudden you're throwing the ball. And I get you have to have balance, but this is the kind of game where you can lean on the run and your two stud running backs in your offensive line and wear this team down, who's not a great run stopping team, and eventually break their backs. Um, that's what I hope you guys do. And I just honestly I don't think. So the Bucks are 14th on offense, 11th on D, second in passing, 32nd in rushing. You guys are 10th on offense, 13th on defense, 14th passing, 8th in rushing. Lean on that run game. Know that they can't run. Pin your ears back and go after Tom Brady, and I think you win.
Agreed. Agreed. I'm hoping that's what it comes out to, right?
Yeah.
I
Not a,
guess we're gonna have to wait and see if Brady's gonna continue his last season. I'm not retiring yet. Gonna try and get to the Super Bowl party. And you know what, man? If anybody can do it, it's Brady, bro. That's the truth.
oh, absolutely. And you hate to see one of those. This is one of those. If Mike Evans wakes up and goes ham, you're like, oh shit, he just scored 8 touchdowns. In 5 minutes. So that's capable. Again, I think you're going to take away one of the wide receivers, and there's really the Bucks offense is two wide receivers right now, and it seems like only one of them ever operates at a time. So I don't know why, but and that's the end of it. They can't run the ball. They don't really have tight ends. They just and Brady, for all his greatness and quick release, it's really not. It's not pushing the ball down the field. It's more short passes. And then they third down is a gamble because it has to be a completion because you can't run the ball. So again, if Dak, you guys can run the ball, keep Dak out of harm's way, not limit the pick sixes. You guys can come out of this with a win. I'm gonna go with you guys. I think your defense makes a play or two, and I think Tom the father time's finally caught up with him. Now,
Well,
as we say that, he'll be like, "Oh no, no."
best way to keep best way to keep Dak from throwing interceptions is keep the ball out of Dak's hand. Just run, 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 run. He's
Correct.
got two great running backs. Get it done. But Kellen Moore is who he is. I hope Carolina picks him up as their coach. Bye. I'd like to see a new offensive coordinator come to Dallas, man. I don't understand. Hey, it's 31. Let's throw downfield.
I mean, we
Like,
had that with Hackett, and he had one good year that the defense carried him to. Then he went to Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers was like, "Oh, okay, your plays are stupid, but I'm Aaron freaking Rodgers, and it didn't matter." And then he went to Denver, and they're like, "Yeah, that's not going to happen here." So yeah, I've seen offensive coordinators. You're like, man, this is bad. So yeah, I again, I'm assuming you're going Cowboys. I'm going Cowboys. So there will be no advantages this week for us picking, but that's what we got. Anything out there in Chatland? Shreeden says that Ripper is Cowboys mascot.
whatever. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I have no qualms about it. But I'm also realistic, and I've talked more trash about the Cowboys this season than I have in a long time. So
You've actually talked
you
more
can
trash
eat a
about
bag of
about Dak
carrots.
than the Jaguars.
There you go. I mean, at this point, I'd rather have sunshine than Dak. Think about that, right? I mean, it's a tough one, bro. Look, game of the week for me this week. Honestly, I really think that Jacksonville Charger game. That's the one game I want to watch the most, other than the Cowboys game. But both those games are pretty good. I don't think the Cincinnati Buffalo Baltimore game is going to be a lot. Minnesota New York. I think Minnesota wins that handily. Buffalo beats Miami handily. San Fran beats Seattle handily. I think the two games that are going to be pretty close and could go either way are going to be that Jacksonville Charger game and that Tampa Bay Dallas game.
Yeah, I agree. Those are probably the closest ones. And for me, the Seahawks just don't have the overall talent. The Dolphins are without a quarterback. I think the Vikings are who they thought they are who I thought they were, but are better than the Giants. And then the Ravens don't have a quarterback. So there's three people at disadvantages. So well, we did this in record time. It's amazing what we do with only 6 games on the books.
Yeah, still took us 48 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Any last thoughts?
Man, you know what? I think that we chose at the beginning our AFC choices. Mine anyway were Buffalo, Cincinnati, right? And they're still in it. NFC, I can't remember who I picked NFC for the life of me.
I
I
will.
know it wasn't Philadelphia.
I know it was. I think you said. I don't think you said the Cowboys. Um,
I don't remember.
I think the 49ers was one of them, and I think the other might have been the Bucs. For me, I had the Colts and the Bills or the Chiefs, and well, one of them is not here. Um, and I think I had the Rams and the Bucs.
Yeah, I remember that Colts pick.
Yeah,
I
that
believe
was
I gave that the STFP.
yeah. That was the stupid effing pick.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I couldn't believe you were picking the Colts. But
uh,
anyway, it's gonna be a good weekend of football. I mean, next week will be a little more interesting, right? Who plays who next week?
well, it's gonna depend on matchups. So right. So
Seeding and matchups. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and this is also when you start getting those coin flips and stuff for about the home field and like the
Well,
Chiefs and the
Buffalo
Bills.
wins and Cincinnati wins. Who's playing Kansas City?
If Buffalo wins and Cincinnati wins, Kansas City is the number one pick, so they will play the lowest seed that is left in the AFC. So
So Jacksonville
Jacksonville's 4, right? The Bengals are
higher than that.
3.
Buffalo's 2. They're playing
Correct.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So Buffalo, Cincinnati. Oh wow, that's who's playing each other, huh?
Yeah, which
That's
which
gonna be
means which
crazy.
means the again the Chiefs are going to avoid a bullet, right? Because
Well, they're the highest record, right? They're gonna get the. Hey, you know what though, man? Don't be surprised if Jacksonville comes. Well, no, man. Look,
they only lost by
sorry.
10 and
Yeah,
you
but
know,
come on. We've been saying it all season. Mahomes plays has been playing with his food all season. I,
yeah,
I mean, there's games where you just like, wow, they can't win this one, and Mahomes like, let me do my best Tom Brady impersonation.
yeah, he's amazing. No, I don't expect we can win, but you've seen stranger things. I mean, it's one of those when you play with your food too much, all of a sudden the food bites back. Will it happen? No. But, hey,
I know you'd love for it to happen.
I mean, there was a team that went up to Denver and nobody gave them a chance and they beat them in Mile High. So it's happened before, but
Yeah.
I don't. Again, I think the Chiefs team um, is not going to have that happen.
No,
I
I think they beat Jacksonville. The
Yeah,
game that we want to look at would be Buffalo Cincinnati, right?
and
That's
and
gonna be a
and
big
that's
one.
going to be a coin flip, right? I mean, I
I
think
go either way.
yeah. Who's got the ball last, and then again another coin flip of if the Chiefs play the Bills or the Bengals. They've lost to both this year, but I don't feel the Chiefs have the same sense of urgency playing in the regular season. Like Mahomes knows he's like it's a regular season. We're still going to get number one seed. you know, we play in the AFC West. We'll be fine. So, but in the playoffs, he does stuff, and you're just like, wow. So I don't know. I know the Bills. I think the Bills on paper are a more solid team. I don't know. I think the Bengals and the Chiefs are probably on the same level. Um, and then I'm interested in Philly. Like I don't. I I feel so. Who's on the NFC side? Let's do the math on that, right? So Philly's going to play the lowest seed left. So let's say that we're right, and the Cowboys win, and the Vikes win.
Who's lower? Cowboys. Cowboys, right?
Yeah, you're a wild card, right?
Yeah. Either way, I think the Phillies playing the winner of the Cowboys Tampa Bay or Seattle. What's Seattle at? Shit, didn't
Seven.
even
They're
look at that.
seven. They're seven.
All right. So Seattle beat San Fran. I think they play Seattle then.
Correct.
Dallas would play Minnesota.
Yeah, but you know the probable logical you're going to
Look, as much as I'm not sold on Dak, I'm not sold on Philly either, to be honest. Obviously, Hurts back is a different team, but I'm not sold on Philly. I don't see Philly making the Super Bowl here. I don't. I'm still thinking the San Francisco 49ers make the Super Bowl, but I don't see if Dallas ends up playing Philly, or even if Tampa Bay ends up, or whoever it is, not Seattle, and definitely Minnesota and Philly. I think Philly wins that one. But you get Philly against Dallas, Tampa Bay. I think both those teams can beat Philadelphia. I'm not sold on them, just not. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that NFC East hatred, because I hate
no,
the
they'll
Eagles, the
they'll make a
Giants, and
game.
the Redskins. But I'm not sold on them, not at all.
No, me neither. And that again, that's the when I was talking about earlier. That's the path. I see that kind of being a path, right? If
Yeah.
you guys win this game, you go to Philly and you expose Philly, and then who then you play the Niners in the championship game. Again, I don't. The Niners have a rookie quarterback, so I don't. Um, I don't. I don't think that they're unstoppable. I mean, I think that they have a lot of parts, and they have a great team. But you're not going to get overwhelmed with the pass rush, right? That line is good. That running game is good. Your defense is good. You should not be getting beaten down unless Dak does stupid shit. So you have a path.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that San Francisco has a rookie quarterback, but I don't know. Man, you know what? Doesn't matter. Honestly, he's got so many weapons and so it's not like it's a rookie quarterback with a mediocre running back and okay receivers. It's a rookie quarterback with great receivers, a great running game, a great defense. I mean, it's not a rookie quarterback that they're putting everything on his back to win the game. So I honestly think that they can make it. They can make it there. Now, once they get there and play a team like Buffalo, uh, Kansas City, then a different story, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they can definitely in the NFC. They to me right now are the strongest team, hands
Concur.
down. But we shall see.
We
It's gonna be
shall.
interesting, man. It's gonna be really interesting. I already get this gut feeling that the Cowboys are gonna choke, which sucks. Maybe that's just you know 40 some years of being a Cowboys fan and disappointment, right? We had that stretch in the 90s though. That was great.
Well, I
you
mean,
know?
I did it last week. Like the last week of the season, I'm watching the season slip away. 2 minutes left, and the Titans have a lead, and they're running Henry in the middle, and just flashbacks of 99-yard touchdown runs are dancing in my head, or the AFC Championship game where they beat us down 14. We were 14-2, and they beat us 3 times that year. So yeah, I mean, I had my moment, and then 2 minutes left, we do fumble six, and win that game, and I was just like I'm like Sunshine's gonna like. First of all, I was like, if we can get the ball back and Sunshine can win the game, that would be amazing. But we didn't even have to do that. Like he's literally getting the ball back to kneel down in victory formation, which and it was just a magical moment. So hopefully you will have the same thing, and it's going to be even better because you're playing Tom Brady, who's giving you torture for so many years.
We shall see, man. I'm worried about that, honestly. I'm worried about that. Tom Brady hasn't lost to the Cowboys, doesn't lose to the Cowboys. He's the Cowboys' daddy. Sucks, but it's true.
It's time to get
We
that
shall
belt
see.
back.
Let's hope, man. I'm hoping so. I'm rooting for my Cowboys, but come on, Dak Prescott, get concussed.
I,
In
I play
Cooper, we trust.
I play better with the backup. So, all right, this was a great show. Thanks everybody for coming out. See you guys next week.